and I hope my PPT is visible, Girigaru. Do I need to do any changes?
Yeah, this is fine. Yeah, we are able to
thanks.
see.
Good morning, greetings. Welcome everyone to the 13th batch and 7th day of Universal Human Values based on Jivanidya philosophy and knowledge. Today, we'll talk about the harmony in family, harmony in nature and society. What are the proposals to make it harmonious? So we'll discuss on that a bit today and understand, look into the proposals, reflect in self and verify them. Let's begin. So as always, the information what we share are all proposals. They have to be verified based on the natural acceptance. And once we verify, that will become part of our day-to-day habit. That is the end of the verification. Today, in the process of verification, first we verify it based on our natural acceptance, and then experiment the proposal at the family level and the nature level. And when we feel it is succeeding or it is giving mutual happiness and harmony, only then we'll consider it as a truth. Otherwise, we consider it as a non-truth or false information, or it is not compatible to my way of living. So that is a proposal. And this proposal, there are two steps. In the second step, there are two sub steps. One is 2A and 2B. One of them is 2A and other is 2B. Behavior with the human being and work with the rest of the nature. When we experiment the proposals with the human being and we are happy and other human being is also happy, and when we experiment these proposals, we are in a coexistence and prosperous in the nature, mutual prosperity, that we are enriching the nature and nature is also giving back to us in a prosperous way. So when these proposals are meeting that criteria, then those are true, and one has to verify, one has to live accordingly, and and then declare it is working for me or individual who is part of the process. And when this comes to the living, that is where the right understanding establishes, and it will be well funded at an individual level, and that person is a proof of living, and people follow the person who is a proof of living. Mere we teach, rather we preach, and like a parrot doesn't work. A human being follows, human being watches a person. If he's practicing what he's preaching, only then that person being uh, helpful in understanding other person's process. For example, if I am a person and I have understood something, one of the aspect of the millions in this world, and I verified it and it is working for me and living according to it, and then that will become part of my body. I will become part of a proof of that living, and others watching me will also try to learn and verify themselves. So that is where the right understanding comes in. So having this established, I'll forward harmony in society. So why we need to know harmony in society? Does society needs a harmony? Those are the questions we try to understand today. So okay, harmony in society is established. What next? And how long it need to be? These are the things we'll discuss. And what is society? First of all, sorry, a group of individual living in a relation. Minimum relation is human to human relation, and they are living together, mutually understanding each other, and that is a small society. A family is a small society, personal to that family, and a group of families living in that order are a society. Could be anywhere on the world and living by the human rules. So what is desirable and where are we today? When we say society should be harmonious and a society with happy society uh, will have more compatibility on the earth to live, and that is the assumption. And with that assumption, we'll try to see what is desirable. That is, harmony in society is desirable, but where are we today? Families living together in a relationship of mutual fulfillment, that is common good, that is society, or people living together, but not in relationship of mutual fulfillment. Mostly, as far as today's given scenario, this seems to be more, appealing, and then different goals. That is called crowd, and people living separately in opposition struggle, conflicting goals, and battlefield. These are the different scenarios we see around the globe today. And what is desirable? A question from my side to you guys, and like to know your views on this in the chat. Society, are we aiming for a society which a family lives together in a relationship of mutual fulfillment? Are people living together under the roof, bound within the boundary of their privacy and no actual relation, but acting accordingly? That is called crowd. People living separately and fighting for each other for resources in opposition, struggle to live. That is called a battlefield, conflicting in the goals. One want to be happy, one want to be happy alone. Those kind of scenarios. So given these three scenarios, what is a desirable, what we expect, what is needed minimum to minimum in these three scenarios? So common goal, society. Mhm. So if we establish that society is needed, as a society as a definition itself is a activity among the human beings living together in relationship, mutual fulfillment, then society itself divining that we are aiming for happier living together. So taking that forward, I'll go to next slide and try to see how can we achieve. So we will explore harmony in society, the base of harmony in society in harmony family, for which so base is harmony in human being. So to start with, a minimum need to become a society or a families living together is that a harmony in society is a harmony in family. A family is harmonious when an individual person who is staying and all the persons in the family are harmonious. So we read it reverse. So basically, individual supposed to be happy, and that individual makes their family happy. That becomes happy family. That happy family, part of a group of families, and all together are happier. Like I am happier in my house, and my neighbors are happier, and this is a colony, and this view, there are many colonies, all are happier, and they all are happy, and they become in a happy society. And that goes on. The boundary, there is no boundary actually. You start from one point, you roam around the world, you come back, and after seeing everybody happy, and that is larger family. But then that starts from the individual. That's what we are trying to establish here. If I am not happy, I may not make our family happy. I cannot be a proof of living of happiest person. And a family whom with I am actually disrupting everybody's happiness. You know, so if an individual is not happy at the family level, a family itself is unhappy because there is no full 100% happiness. There is always a gap. That gap is exposed to the other family, and the family sees only the gaps. So that's how it goes. The proposal says so. It has as an individual in a family and other individuals in the family. Everybody should be happy. Like we yesterday and before all this workshop, we have understood that a person in our family is same as like us. A person, a human being, is same as like us. Us in the sense, I'm putting this scope saying that we want to be happy, we want to be prosperous, we want to follow the 9 basic fundamental rules. Everybody trust, respect, and everything. And me as an individual, as a human being, and other family member in my family, everybody wants the same. Maybe the gender differences are there, but happiness is gender neutral. So it starts like that. With that, this is a minimum needed proposal to become an happiest individual, family, society, and nature. So harmony in society achieved when all four this process are established, funded, and practiced at individual level, family level, society level. So number one, right understanding and right feeling leads to individual happiness and that not alone one individual supposed to be happiness, every individual should be happy. That's what this block 1 says. And coming to block 2, and a happiest person and all the family members are happy and whole global family is happy. They know what's their need and they understood and they are getting their needs and they are prosperous. And trust. In a society, we are living as a group of families and each family is prosperous and trustworthy to other family, and we see the trust between the families who are living in the society all around the globe. For example, I'm living in my house. This is my family. Neighbors are also besides me or opposite to me, around me somewhere in some direction. They are also living. And I am living with values and they see the trust. Yes, this family is living. They do not disturb. They don't put loudspeakers in the midnight of 12, and they don't, throw dust or some stuff at our house. They don't cross a boundary. So this a minimum trust is already established. So that's the reason why we are at least living happily at that extent, I mean to say. So that is actually fearless. No fear among the families, and trust establishes when there is no fear, and trust is primary. So that is third need. And fourth, coexistence in the nature and existence. Sorry, coexistence. This coexistence alone, a bigger thing one has to understand from the pre-birth to the birth, again to the death and the process. From the coexistence established, and a small example, as a human being, we want to be coexistence. That means we are actually doing a inhale exhale process from the nature, I can say. I'm putting short forms. I'm not elaborating to make it very short and easy. So when we inhale, we are taking oxygen from the nature, and we are exhaling, whatever carbon dioxide we call, and we are given take process that is mutual, that is continuous. There is no gap in between. Nature do not say that, hey, wait for some half an hour time or 1 hour time. Your turn gets. No, that is not possible. And that compatibility established, that existence is already established, and that's the reason why we are working on the earth. Earth is compatible to human being. That coexistence is already there. If we look at, we understand, it doesn't understand. So every individual society, everybody is prosperous. It's when that state arrives, it's easy to see the coexist in the family. Sorry, nature. That we are, it's a give and take policy and an enrichable fashion and in existence. So these four processes are very much needed. Now I have a verification process. Would like to put a verification process front. So are these four all needed, desirable, or can we discard or give a discount to the process of the society? I'd like to know from your viewpoint. So these four processes to become a harmonious society, harmonious society, do we need these four processes or can we discard one of the block? For example, if I discard the coexistence in the nature and existence, I think we won't have a place to stand. We won't be having any oxygen to breathe. So we are not compatible. And if you put that back and try to remove the third block, that fearlessness, trust in society, then I think every day is a war. If you are fear of other family or human being, you try to protect yourself. That's a basic nature of human being, protect ourselves, but not the cost of the others. So if we lose fairness, trust in individual, family, society, country, we know the answer. Prosperity in the family. If we put everything back again and remove this block, prosperity in every family, if a family, assume as a family of two people, for a general example I'm taking, if a family of two people doesn't know their need, doesn't know where to stop, doesn't know how long to live, then those people will not stop acquiring facilities, will not stop exploitation, will not enrich. that will continue. If these two people can do this much and hold a family, a society, everybody is part of family. If they don't see where to stop, what is prosperity, then there is no stop at all in the disrupting of the nature, or disrupting of the human being, a process of life and happiness. Everything goes off from the process. And keep these three and remove the first one. For example, right understanding. Lack of right understanding at individual level leads to disruption of individual itself. Without a right understanding, we cannot walk on the road. If you don't know how to walk, I mean, which side of the road, and if you start walking opposite side, that is also comes with a little understanding, traffic rules, we can say. Like that, an individual lack of understanding, we know where we stand an individual level when we put ourselves. So these four are needed. That is a proposal. And I request everyone who is exploring this content to validate. So if four are desirable, would anything else be required? I hope it starts from individual, goes to the nature. I think that is perfect. But if you guys are a explorer, a co-explorer, I call, because everybody is exploring learning. And as a process of learning, if someone come across any new block to put in, welcome. Now, if we approve that, if we take this proposal for verification, this level, I see some feedbacks in the chat. Okay, yeah, we have to participate in all levels, all blocks, all four needed. Thanks. Then now the actual question comes. Sorry, are we working for all four levels or blocks, whatever we call it, for the sake of understanding? But the practice is very important. Working is important in the family, in the society. Actually, I may add here, in the individual level itself. Are we focused inwards towards our family? Are we looking at our family needs, making them happy? Are we happy at the individual level? So these are the questions we need to ask everyone. I mean to say, when we start validating the proposals. I would like to pause here and I'll take a few questions if you have any. Then I'll go to the next slide. One or two questions. If you have, please unmute your mic and share with us. Okay. I'll wait for a few more seconds. Done. Next slide now. So harmony in society, universal human order, human goal. As we understood, these four process blocks are the parts of living is needed as an individual, as a family, as a society, as a nature existence. Sorry. When we say that, to achieve that, there are five orders or dimensions we call, and an individual level to start with. And when we establish these five, if these five orders are well funded at the individual level, at the family level, and we see the achieving harmony is easy, may take some time, like say 5 to 100 years, more than that. But if once process is established with right understanding, that starts giving fruits back, sweet fruits, I mean to say. So, and these five orders we will just explore, and then we will reflect them whether they're needed. Can we change the order of these five dimensions? And we'll go forward. In the past workshop, this I mean say past yesterday, before days from the day started for this 13th batch workshop, we have reflected on need of education. Education is very important. A person with education, a person without education, there is a difference in understanding level, I mean to say. And education gives a scope, a vision, and a tool to read and understand, observe, and read the other person's work, understand from their experience. So that establishes samskar. Samskar is actually comes when you start acting, are actually part of your living. For example, in education, I have read that I need to give respect to the elders or respect to the individual who comes to our house. They need to be treated as a guest and give minimum as a minimum to a water and give us offer a seat to rest. So if we understand this basic minimum from the education, when I say it is not something we get educated in the schools, colleges for the sake of certification. No, it is something we want to be educated as a human being. It's a part of life experience. It is learned at home before schooling and after schooling, in schooling, and learned based on the experience and verification. Sometimes education comes from the uh, um, you know doing by watching. If we see a person respecting an elder and he is offering a seat, and that there is a happiness and responsible mutual happiness established, and each individual are happy, then we also learn because we want to be happy. Anything which makes happy, and as a part of process we adapt that, that is also become part of our life, and we verify it and we feel yes it is working and we follow that. There is no denial in that. That is also an education. Human being by birth, I mean, even before birth, does this learning. And sometimes we call right education. This and all, I'm not. I have no quality to discuss. But when I say education, it is something which makes a person and uh, helps to see the world as is. That is education. And once a person sees the truth, he follows the truth, the rules and policies to live an individual level. It is all truthful, and that is samskar. A person who is living with the right samskar, that always admired by a family. A family become with all these samskars, and whenever you go, we see some families they help individuals, others. There are a lot of examples. That is education. So every individual need to be educated, the minimum education, and then health. Sayam. Health is also the most important. What we intake, to nurture the body from the outside world, it is in the scope of health. It is in the scope of fixing and some hunger. We have already discussed about these examples. It is not for the taste we are taking the food, it is for our health. And there, uh, even there also we follow that we want to have 4 idlis or 10 idlis, but we don't know how much idli actually our body consumed. That is actually uh, an individual need to understand. That is high level of the observation which comes with observation. And then when an individual observes, and he can pinpoint his health, a good health, a benchmark. That means without minimum, there is a line, and above that line is not needed, below that line is insufficient. So when we know the line, where up to what extent we need to have, and we become prosperous, because we are we know with right understanding how much food we need, and we that food is needed for this much period of time, and how to accumulate, how to acquire, whether I need to go for it, whether I need to procure it, purchase it, everything falls. But the scope is health. So healthy person with the right understanding practices sayam. Sayam is a practice to become health. One of the things is pranayam, observation, and everything, which at the individual level with a basic minimum knowledge or IQ, intelligence, one has to follow, observe internally, like what is the state after I'm having this hot water, how much temperature difference I am seeing when I am not having it. That is a observation. I'm giving a minimum example. There are many methods. So health, an individual, in a family and society, we need to establish health. Production. When I say production, I am talking about farming or some materials which need. For example, I need cloths to protect my body from outside. I need some raincoat when I go outside, or umbrella, something like that. But before that, I need food, and to survive my family, I need different types of grain, food, and everything. That is production. Production comes by working. giving labor in the farming for our own sake, or taking from the farmer who produced. So production is important, and that is sufficiently done. When a family is when a family know the prosperity, a production is sufficient, because always in the nature, it's always gives tenfold. If an individual gives his labor or his work in the farm or any place following the nature rules, if you put 1% of the investment, it gives 10% back. But the problem comes, we if we are not prosperous, we will not see the 10% as a gift from the nature, but we try to achieve 100%. That turns to exploit. So one has to stop. But how an individual will stop? Because without a right education, we don't know where to stop. Without a proper health practice, we don't know how when to stop. The production is always lagging behind our needs. We cannot reach that. The production cannot reach our needs, because we are running with the desire, ambitious to fulfill them, and the production is always behind. And we try to do custom settings in between to reach this. For example, if I don't know how much bags of rice I need per year, and I misunderstand and miscalculate, and I say 10 bags needed, but the place where I am living today, it's only for me, it's only they are giving 2 to 3 bags. Actually, I need one. But if I don't know the understanding, then I reach for 10 bags. I start acquiring and I compete, but everything falls in different order. So production need to be established, and justice, preservation, justice in the sense, I'll give a quick example with this. Justice among the family. If I take a village, and in a village, if I go back in time 100 years ago, every family has their own skill set. They used to work, though they are farmers, but some period of time they put farming aside and produce goods or tools or something. Like a potter makes a pots, so that every family gets a pot when they need it. And family, as a part of that farmer is not the potter is not participated in farming work. So but he is actually substituting that, giving pots. This family who is taking part need to justify that by fulfilling his needs. That's how the model was established. Like that, in a village, a family has acquired the skills to sufficiently support all the needs of that village. It might be uh, blacksmith, we can say, potter or doctor or a teacher. There are many roles each family used to do. There is no family with a that skill set. If a potter is there, we cannot say that this whole family, whomever practicing this generation, they all are potters. No, they are acquiring the skills, and they actually helping in that skill. They are mastered it, and they are doing it comfortably. They have all the tools. Doesn't mean they're born for doing pottery. So that justice, that respect need to be established, and preservation need to be done to fulfill that in a village model. So when we come to the urban, that is there. When we pay tax, government need to give us back, or we talk like that actually. So justice needs to be established. If we there is a disrespect happen, or if we see that there is no justice, that I am doing this much work but I am not paid, or I am doing this much things but I deserve more, but we are not getting the justice. But assume an individual came to us and try to fulfill the justice, but before he even does, we need to know what our needs, where we can stop. Now that is again start from the right understanding. An exchange, storage. So whatever the produce, we need to justify it, store it, and exchange it. For example, a potter gives us a pot, we should give back him grain. If we are doing farming and we are only in the business of doing grains, and we need to give him grains, take the pot, and likewise versa, it follows. So that is exchange and storage. If we have more produce, for example, given a time and era in a village, there are always more produce. There are always 100 times produce than what they used to eat. And luckily that time they used to eat less. Produce is always excess. They store it for years, 1 or 2 years. And sometimes if the produce is not compatible to store that much, they start distributing in another village or family in exchange of other grain or something, diversity. That is how these all 5 dimensions must be funded, and all the process of this um, understanding an individual, family, and coexistent nature. So nature part comes from the second, third, and fourth and fifth. In the first also, in the dimension I mean to say, but from the third and fourth, fifth, it more precisely reflects second as well. If we have a right understanding and we understand the nature, we try to be coexistence with it, not in the reverse, not in the resistance way. For example, I'll take oxygen from the nature or whatever we call existence, and I resist back, exhale back. I have inhaled, I have taken what is needed for my body. With my ignorance or lack of right understanding, I stop that exhaling. The coexistence rule is broke. We start the nature itself start disintegrating from us because we turn to incompatible on the earth. That is how it is. And so one has to understand that nature is a minimum, is trying to help us to stand, walk at the individual level and generations, and be happy and fulfill the fulfill the purpose of the human being on the earth. So that is these are 5 dimensions are very important, and if we establish all these 5 in this 4 process, and we are saying that society is harmony and world is harmony, it starts from the family cluster called village cluster, bigger village, or today we call it as a suburban or urban or town, and nation, world family, a globe. And then if all these are fulfilled, we call developed society, village, city, state, country, humanness. Because when a society is in that state, there are no boundaries. There are boundaries to protect from climate conditions or something, but not from the other country or other society, I can say. So we strive to be human happiness. Every individual on the earth who is compatible and doing the coexistence thing, they all work towards individual happiness, and then there is no boundaries. That is a proposal here. Actually, one has to verify with all these dimensions. I'll pause here for a questions. Please, if you have any questions, unmute and share with us. So I was fearing for a question. Actually, the 2 questions which fears me a lot, I was thinking that I may get those, but I'm joking. There is no question that actually fear. Every question has an answer. Only there might be a gap to find it, the answer, I mean to say. So this slides actually covers harmony in family, society, and now we try to see how we can achieve harmony in nature, harmony in coexistence, I can say. And that is very important, because all this what we are trying to say, what we are being in the environment, and today, as I said, inhale exhale process still happening, that is all in the nature. If the nature is not at harmony, and that reflects back on everybody on the earth. So let's explore that. Nature is a collection of units. When I say units, like those units are a bigger form, a small units form in a bigger form, and they in a diversification they call it the different forms like air, water, 3 soil, and then the animal body, birds, animals, and self, human beings, earth, moon, sun, metal, human body. All these are part of the nature. They are from the nature, and the compatibility, everything starts from the nature, and we are minimum compatible on the earth. So that's the reason why we are still walking, sitting, or living, I can say. So all these parts of collection of units, small units, come together, a group, and form a different order, their activity, and they help each other. They understand each other. I mean, say they recognize the order of each other and fulfill mutual fulfillment. It all happens. It's all coexistent. Nothing on the earth which actually disrupt the coexistence is exist actually. Earth, the process of evaluation million years ago, accumulated only units which are compatible on the earth. Which are not compatible, those are not part of earth. Those have been disintegrated. They are converted back to compatibility. The same as like as I expressed little few minutes ahead, that inhale exhale is a process that is actually a part of compatibility checklist on the earth. If we are not able to inhale the oxygen on this from this atmosphere, the part of nature, then we are incompatible. So earth has made everything compatible to individual for harmony, so that the nature itself want to be harmony. So let's forward further and see how does it actually manifest it. So nature, Prakriti in Sanskrit, collection of units, Ikai Samuha. Ikai is actually in the term is one unit is termed as a Ikai, and the same Ikai when collected and seen as a material, and a same group of Ikais seen as a consciousness. So nature is collection of these two. So unit is always an activity. Unit is always active in the form of individual unit that is self-energized. I mean, for example, if we take any atom, nobody has to pour fuel or diesel. It has its own self-fueling. It has its own self-active state, and it is continuous. It never have stopped. You would have done. You would have not experiencing all this consciousness, look and feel, sound, physical and everything. So it is participating continuously. It is obeying the orders, or it is obeying whatever the process. So it still the evolution is happening. We can say happening is continuing. And there are 4 orders. We're going to look at it. And relationship of mutual fulfillment. When we talk about relationship of mutual fulfillment, I am talking about units. Like every unit, every atom, for example, recognize other atom and acts with it in a mutual fulfillment. It's we need to understand up to that level. We don't have to go beyond that for now for understanding this. So everything is in correlation. It's a relationship. Every atom recognizes other atom and forms in a different forms. Same unit form in a different way appears as a water. Same will appear as a soil, and different diversification when they recognize and participate. These all are happen. So right understanding is knowing as is, understanding the unit. Though we may not able to see it, but we can experience it. We have read a lot about all these small particles and everything. Everybody has to verify it. If you cannot see it, it doesn't mean that it is unverifiable. Seeing is not only through eyes. There are many ways we can understand and see and perceive. That gift starts from the human body actually. So that is right understanding is also knowing and verifying and doing, and it should be part of life. To be able to see the reality as is for a unit, to be able to see is, so its form, property, natural characteristics,
and innateness, and coexistence. These are the forms observed, seen by observing for a unit. Its form, its property, effect on other unit. Like for example, if we a water molecule is a form of two different molecules. When they club together, they recognize each other and the property changes. Example, a minimum example I can take that. But we don't want to go into the chemistry class because I am not certified to teach chemistry. Just joking here. So natural characteristics, innateness and coexistence. Self-organization. Innateness means whenever we mix two parts of the water, two molecules which makes water, whenever we mix them, they always, whenever they correlate, they always generate a water molecule, and that is continuous. There is no change in that. That is the order form, and everything is followed that way, and that is definite. So these all are observed in a unit, and everyone sitting back by observing in the nature. With the nature, when we speak with the nature language, with the nature, then it is very, very well expressed. So farm and prosperity. Okay, farm and prosperity actually channels to the diversity, and nature characteristics. These three actually help forms definiteness, continuity, universality. As I said, the units, when they are, for example, a water is formed on the earth. If we do the same mixing, that water will be formed on anywhere in the universe. That is order actually, continuity, definiteness, and it is continuous. There is no stopping in it. So we will, it's better to have less information on this as minimum as, because it's something, this form and everything is as observation level. One has to observe it, understand it, and there are many things around around us to understand those things. So what we need to do is contemplate it, understand it, and really realize it. For example, if sun comes, and when the right time, if we expose it to sun, our body energizes. It takes something which is needed for the good health. We generally in English called vitamin D. It actually produces that from the sun rays. And one contemplates processes that, understands it, and every time it is actually that is actually realization, I can say, saying that sun does many sun rays helps everything on the earth in many ways, but one of the help does to the human is like that. So that is kind of a realization there, I can say, that leads to right understanding as well. So let's come back to the four orders. There are in the nature, these are the orders. That is physical order, pranic order, animal order, and human order. These four orders are categorized, and they all talk about one of the particular base for the other. When I say physical order, when we talk about a physical order from here, we are actually talking about soil, metal, and everything, all the material, all the materials on the earth. Pranic order, plant, trees, which actually does actually inhale, exhale. An animal with a body and something is living and walking. And human order, human being, which actually a knowledge level. Human, as we in these four classes, we understood that we shouldn't have to have animal consciousness. We have a right to understand. We are actually as a human, when we walk on the earth as a human, we have a capacity to understand, visualize, contemplate, all these things, where those are in lack of those are lacking in the animals. And same, what animal has the capacity, those are lack in the pranic order, and physical order. When I say lack, that is actually equality for the sake of understanding I'm trying to say, but all these 4 orders are needed. They all are coexistent, mutually enriching each other. Discontinuing any order disrupt the rest of the orders. Let's explore. So nature is characterized by mutual fulfillment. I have a chat. Okay, there is a question, why are plants called pranic? I have that explained in the coming up slides in the maybe 7 or in the bottom actually. We'll talk that. But for now, pranic order in the sense it has a cell, it multiplies, it actually has a breathing cycle, I can say. So that is where we call pran. Pran is something actually multiplying, breathing. Whereas soil, metal, if I place there, it stays as is. It doesn't have something takes, breathe, and exhale in multiplication. So that's the reason why plants are called the pranic order, or categorized, I mean. Yeah, the question from Tejashwini is that thanks, so humans and animals also do that. Humans and animals also do that because as a part of evolution, we evolved from the metal to pranic to the, let me go to the, this is the starting point, and that leads to pranic order, the pranic order to the animal order, animal to the human order. It's an evolution. It is happened in the past and it is continuing. And we cannot discount because we are human as today is part of these 3 orders. Oh, sorry. Yep. Let's focus on this pranic order. So plants and physical order and pranic order are mutually fulfillment. And when a plant starts germinating, the germination starts from the soil and it takes mineral from the soil, air from the atmosphere, and it gives back leaves and all the fruits and falls back on the soil, and they disintegrate and they will be part of soil again. This is mutual enrichment. That means again a plant multiplies and so much of leaves and everything falls back and soil enriches. It continuous process. So material turning to a plant again giving back in a material form. So there is no discontinue in that. It's always continuous. So now animal order. So these 3 orders are mutually fulfilled and enriched each other. Like, as I said, plants gives back leaves and trunk, tree, trunk, everything falls back and becomes soil. And the same plants, leaves and fruits, everything becomes a fodder to the animal, birds. And when animal birds are, I mean, actually feeded on the plants and everything, they actually give drop back to the earth, and that will become soil, manure, and it will enrich as a soil. That manure again helps back the trees to grow as a manure. So this process is all fulfilled, enriched. There is no discontinue. For example, this order is maintained, and if we leave this order, it will continue. It has been continuing from the past. So soil again, animals take water as a metal, I mean, sorry, materials, physical order. From just want to give an example how physical order is enriching animal and how animals are enriching back to the soil. So from animals takes water and oxygen, whatever needed for their life from the environment and gives back in the drop-ins, and that again enriches the soil. So this order continues. Nothing is exploitation we see. If something exploitation happens, the balance will reestablishes. Because what animal does if we could not find a fodder to eat? No, it sacrifices the life. But after the period of time, again, everything falls back, and the growth in the animals and trees again falls back in order. Now, when we add the human order here, let's see how it looks. So now, there is a mutual fulfillment enrichment between physical, pranic, animal, and they are also doing one way fulfillment to us. But what we are giving back to all of those is the questions actually. The nature, by design, human accepts the nature, and we breathe, inhale, exhale, saying that we are part of nature, we are in coexistence. But when it comes to the acting, fulfillment, where we stand today, that one has to, reflect and verify. We take minerals from the soil, what we are giving it, how we are fulfilling back. We take help from the animals, are we fulfilling them back? Actually, enrichment, fulfillment, are we following that? We take many things from the plants, our chronic order, like most of the food grains and everything, fruits, all are coming from there. Are we giving back? Are we nurturing the soil for their growth? Are we propagating the seeds? The same way, are we keeping away from the animal order, leaving them there where they are actually? For example, forest. Today, how much of forest on the earth is gone? If we leave alone, the forest would have grown and animal would have continued this order. So a human order has a capacity, has a right understanding, and highest in all these orders we can call a knowledge level as a part of evolution. But having all these gifts of the process of evolution from physical to pranic to animal to human order, we should be giving back, fulfilling enrichment in all level. My question was, should we enrich or be part of this cycle, or should we disrupt or resistant? Be a person who resists all this, an individual. That's a question actually. If we resist, we know what happened. Same example we can take. If you resist to exhale because it's a part of nature, what happens? The continuity is stopped, or the continuity is stopped and remanifested where it can continue. That is actually taken care by nature, because that is part of process, mutual enrichment. So a question here to everyone to reflect: as a human individual level, what are we trying to fulfill today as a mutual fulfillment? Some of the example here, agriculture side I can give. I am not trying to say it is good or bad. I am trying to convey that few points. Agriculture is good. That is actually a custom way of sustaining. But what I feel that we need to keep this order in mind when we design these agriculture models. We use a lot of fertilizers and lots of pests to control the pest when we do the cropping and all, and harvesting or growing in agriculture. That actually disrupt the soil. That disrupt the soil order by nature, what it is actually, and that mutual fulfillment is gone. And same time, we disrupt all the forest, and when the soil is corrupted, it follows, the order follows. Pranic order will be corrupted, and animals will be corrupted, and same falls back and comes back. So a long story short, when we are not in mutual fulfillment enrichment, we cannot expect the same from the nature, because nature by default, if I plant a small seed and if it become a good tree, and luckily if it is a fruit tree, if I plant one mango, does it give us only one mango, or a mangoes to feed whole colony? That means the ratio is established here. It's only 1% of the labor work I am doing, but what I'm getting produced back is tenfold. When I say labor, it is not, I'm not disrupting the process. I am trying to establish that the work. I see nature is an environment to give the labor, physical work in the process of fulfillment. That is my definition. We can use any other word. We can say, participation in the nature. When we participate in the nature, in a right way, understanding with the right understanding, it always it's already giving us tenfold. If I seed a seed, it's always gives multi. And when I do a multi-seeding, and it's always give multifolds, sufficient for an individual, a family. But as I said, the lack behind the lack of understanding, lack of prosperity, the produce is always lagging. If I want to have 1 mango, I buy 4 kilos. Whether I consume it, my body sufficiently consume it, I don't know. That's how. So let's come back to this. This is where the human stands today. We are not fulfilling, or we are partly doing it. I can say the question mark only vanished when it is 100% like other orders. I have never seen an animal actually, evaporating the forest. I have never seen plants or trees actually, impacting on the human beings. They're always fulfilled, enriched. I have never seen a soil metal by nature naturally available will actually disrupting the human unless human disrupt it, the order, I mean. So, but as a human, we are in a knowledge, higher order. We understand everything. We see the growth and disintegration and this order and everything we understand, but we could not fulfill there. That is actually not seeing, not understanding, or not accepting how the nature. And that when we do not accept the nature, when we live by our own rules, those rules are not in line with the right understanding or nature. That's where these things are happens. So this symbol, same thing, says that animals, animal order, plants order, or plants, animals, I can say in short form. They are all fulfilling, soil and everything is fulfilling with the existence and nature. But the humans today lack of this knowledge, or maybe over information or over knowledge, I can say. Anything is actually not, anything is not helping. It is not a knowledge. We can keep tag over information, less information. Is right or wrong? There are only two things when we say, do we understand it as a human, or we are not? When I say we, I'm taking example, not the participants in this. We are all explorers. So let's have a little reflection on the resource depletion and pollution. Yeah, resource depletion. The resource is used at a rate which is faster. I'm sorry, that text is actually too much right side. It is gone, but it's a fast. And then the rate at which it is produced in nature. And pollution, the product is such that it does not return to the cycle in nature, or it is produced at a rate that is faster than the rate at which it can return to the cycle in nature. So when we say nature is a collection of units, all these units part of nature, and they are all mutual fulfillment, and they are need to be available, or they are always, when I say mutual, that itself is trying that it needed for others to be enriched or other to survive. So all these are needed, but there is a gap, something, when I say air and water, if water is vanished and consumed in a rate where reforming takes a lot of time, but for air it is needed. That means the chain is broken, and that reflects back on everything in installment basis partly. Let's come back to that. For this, I would like to take example of fossil fuel, and let's verify. So the fossil fuels, when I say this, whatever the fuels we are excavating or pulling out from the earth core, just before above the core, actually, not even core. So the main reason earth accumulated is studied as is that it actually shields the temperature which is actually coming from the earth, which I speak, actually it's 1000 degrees temperature at the center of the core, or more than that. I'm just giving for an example, and that is all shielded by this fossil fuel, and that is formed 1000 years process in the past. Now we have for a human continuity, happiness, harmony, we have that resources have consumed, I can say, in a way that not consumed internally, I mean say that is used at the rate which cannot produce. 1,000 years process product is being used in 100 years. That means we need to wait 990 years back again, or 1,000 minus 100 years to form it again. And that is actually even causing the pollution, because we are excavating it purposefully and using it as a fossil fuel, and that changing the environment, that is producing something which is not a part of environment, which is supposed to stay in the earth core, just above the core actually. So fossil fuel are resource depletion, and when they utilize, they actually does the pollution as well. That means they are actually producing the carbon dioxide which forest cannot consume. That there are no forests. Luckily, humans have colonized and all the forests are vanished. Few forests are there, but they could not take all this pollution and produce oxygen. So it will take some time. And this all is not a if I say that one side of the earth is utilized or produced a resource depletion, they have done the depletion, we are not part of the cause. No, that's not going to happen. We are all compatible at the same level. Benchmark is same for individual, because it's a global resource. Because lack of understanding, we have partitioned the earth and saying we have flagged our earth, and that flag holder have the he can dig to the core and he can pull whatever. That is okay happening now, but the discounts or the benefits or perks are all divided over the globe. Everybody is individually having that karma, I can say, or we are part of that. We cannot escape from the earth with that part. That means if I say, if somebody has to fine us, they have to fine globally an individual level, and that might be very less. That is lucky. If we look at that way, we are very lucky, because when the fine is very less, like say 100 rupees or 10 rupees, if we are sufficiently paid back, we can pay it. And luckily that resource depletion, pollution cost is spreaded, someone has done, but it is actually everybody's impact. Everybody has to contribute back in nature by planting a tree or something. That way, if it is 1,000 rupees worth of loss to the earth, if earth has to fine us back saying that, hey, this much is done, and total population has been given the dividends of that 1,000, then individual level, a dividend is very small. That way we are lucky. That means reversing of this process is easy at individual level burden. But resource which has consumed over the period of 1,000 years cannot be done, because it's naturally created, produced by the nature and preserved by the nature. That today with the knowledge, I don't know how we can do it reverse, but at least pollution level, part of the level, we can do it by planting trees and doing this and that. So example is that resource depletion, pollution, a fossil fuel, we can take many examples. And sometimes I feel human knowledge is also depleting and getting polluted. The knowledge which my grandfather used to follow, independence net, survival net, today we don't have that knowledge. It is depleted. They might have acquired it. Maybe, their forefathers have given that knowledge, but that knowledge is depleted, I can say. Today we don't have that. There is a gap. And that forming that again comes back. If I have to have a knowledge with the right understanding, I need to practice it, verify it, fulfill it. Maybe it will take 1 year, 10 years, 100 years. So I feel that pollution is happening there as well. One has to verify. Now, there was a question in the chat some time ago, some minutes ago, saying that how we can call plants, trees chronic, because the respiration. This chart explains the different orders, why they are put into what is the base fundamental. One, we can verify this right away. We can see the differences, and if we accept and verify and go and verify that, it is actually self-evident as well. Excuse me. So soil is actually ordered based on the composition. Plants are based on the respiration, and animals in the body, conscious, selecting, tasting, wandering. Human beings is in body, imagining, analyzing, and selecting and tasting. Potential for understanding. we are the wording, sorry, saying that potential for understanding. That means we have a capacity potential to understand, but are we acting? Are we utilizing all our brain power to understand today? That's the question actually. So now, little further extending these orders, this composition, innateness, it's part of existence. Existence exists is a reality, exists in a definition or definite order. So this text mentioned here because some might have a question, how this existence formed itself. Existence is formed some time ago. It is happening. In that happening, we are a fraction. That is how we need to understand it. If we go behind the forming of the understanding about the existence, it will take a lot of time to manifest and understand, and which is already happening and which we can easily understand in other ways by coexistence and doing the mutual fulfillment. And the plants, so soil, for example, the same example we can take. If I take a piece of gram of gold and I wrap it in the paper and put it in the almirah, after 5 years, it stays the same. Maybe there are few atoms lost. But if I plant a tree the same time, it might have 1,000 times bigger. If I plant a banyan tree, then it would have invasion all the plant wherever putting that. So the growth is a differentiator here. In the body, will to live. A honeybee, if I take, it want to live, and if you try to disrupt this natural order, it try to protect itself. So there is always a will want to live, and it is found in the animal's body. Sorry, in the animal order. And in the human order, a will to live, continuous happiness, and in right feeling, right thought, understanding, all these are seen, observed. Everybody, when we say there is always a question. When I was trying to understand this, I had a question. When we say we have a live, consciousness, happiness, right feeling, are these all going to come as a package after some time, or are these all happening in me, or couldn't see it, or how long it is? The answer, what I got and I'm observing, is very simple. Those all are there. Those all are part of a body package from the nature and universe. Sometimes it is not continuous. What we are trying to make here is a continuous process of that happiness, continuous process of understanding. A process is continued, that will become a living proof, and a proof, a person, a individual is a living proof. He is admired, a role model, and the ways does enriching is actually very helpful. He does one part of the work, but 100% fulfillment. That's how it is being looked. It is always there with us. We have to open it, visualize, see it, feel it, and continue it. Because a human being is a very compassionate being, and something is not happening according to nature, at least 1% internally it says, hey, it should not be done. But some other thought overcomes it, and it happens to be the other side done. Okay, let's do it. So there's only a different part, where to stop, how to stop. One has to master it. There are many ways. So this all process, feeling, and everything is within us now. It is there. In the past, it was there. In future, it will be there. It is part of evolution. That's why human being is called a being with a potential to understand, a capacity to visualize, and set the things back. For example, if I give 100 grains and different tree species, and ask a monkey to seed them, we never know. We never know. But if we train a monkey, we might succeed. But a human with the right understanding, we don't have to train, because it's a part of package of human being. Right understanding, if we explain him in understandable manner, the language he could see, understand, perceive, and we give 100, but he might procure something else and some more, and he suits the purpose, saying that these species are endangered species. We need to survive because it's part of earth, it is part of coexistence. I need to be a do or die case. I have to stand for it. The standing will be there always. When we go for it, I see beings, somebody is standing for that cause, because purpose, he or she, or race or creed, doesn't matter, doesn't comes in front. A purpose and ultimate goal, core comes. And when we see that truth, we start compelling, saying that this is what life. So everybody has to reach that state. It might be installment, it might be slow, it might be in this life, it might be in future. So now inheritance, constitution based. I mean, when I say gold, how it is formed, constitution based. And when I say mango, it is seed based. Might have seeded a mango tree. That's the reason why it is. Otherwise, if it is not inheritance, then I would have gone a lemon or a watermelon. We never know. But it's a seed based. It is happening in this on this earth as a part of evolution. When I seed some plant, sorry, when I seed some seed, that germinates that plant, and fruit also the same. And when it comes to the animal, it's breed based. It could be a breed, when I say a dog, a differentiation in that. When I come to the human order, though lack of understanding today, we are dividing humanity so many shells, layers, race, color, caste, whatever. There are many things we could see in on the earth because of the understanding, but actually it is education and samskar. As I said, a right understanding, a right education is given. Education is part of human. It is part of nature, the part of evolution. It is started when the humans started wandering on the earth, when the compatibility achieved and a human order is established, and education is also started by seeing, perceiving everything. And a person taught in a right understanding in his language or the place wherever he or whatever he is practicing being. And if he gets a teaching and right understanding, the samskar is established. That is his part of life, and it's a role model for the earth, I can say. And it will become tradition because tradition is passed on to the generations. I think there are a lot of examples. For the interest of time, I'll forward. It's part of when I am doing good things. For example, Giriji said that I take my kids and help them or ask them to participate in seeding and understanding, walking around the nature sorry, and understand the things, because I want to establish in my tradition in my family, so that when they grow up, they should see the truth, not from the assumption. They should have a verification model so that at least they will verify. If they practice or not, it's up to them. I don't want to push, but that has to be part of our samskar in our family. That's the reason why I collect the seeds and help them to seed and see and ask them what is happening and why the seeds are coming. They are very happy seeing the nature that one seed is giving this much. And if a kid or as a learning stage, a process of learning, if he gets the right learning, I think the prosperity and everything starts from there. If learner understands that one seed gives many, we don't have to fight for it. We only need to find a way to part the seed and nurture it. And that way of thinking helps him more compatible on the earth to many things. That thought is kept aside. He don't have to worry about it. He has verified it, and we can focus on many things. World problems, heart problems, and today world, there are many things happening around the world. The time and energy can be focused on there because right learning and understanding is already happened. So if our tradition to reaches that level, I think there are many problems. All are solvable. There are always ways. Some ways can be some solutions are changing the lifestyle of human being. Some solutions are changing the order outside. If I go for changing the order outside, it actually need to be done with the proper understanding, keeping all the other orders in mind. So, and right understanding goes to the human tradition, continuous happiness, it goes on. It's become a part of evolution again. Evolution is well funded. It will continue generations. But it's up to now. The good part is the current era, a capable, a potential being who is on the earth walking, he decides the future. But what is a key element? The right understanding. Lack of right understanding, where it disrupts. And don't take otherwise lack of right understanding. We are not trying to communicate here. We are missing something. Only we are the press here, the important key point here is that there are many things to observe in the all around the nature. When we start observing, happiness is actually continuous, and it actually reflects back, and we will get to know that everything outside in this all different orders are helping us to survive, helping us to live, helping us to be happy. So that is that one point I want to establish. So now let's see the order. Human being is top. We take it or not because it's part of evolution. There are many better things human has done in the past. We understood it, we followed it. So quality of units in each order: physical, plant, animal, human. Quality as per overall enrichment of the whole and availability of sustaining resources. Example, number of bees maintained and everything. Depending of each order is on all previous orders. Order of appearance of orders. So this is a harmony in nature summary. Without these four orders, we cannot, because we are part of nature. One more example I have heard many a times with the well-wishers of this knowledge say that a heart is beating. There is the that is again part of this evolution that comes from the nature, and luckily that is actually not in our control. That is by nature laws, inhale, exhale. These two are luckily not in our control. We can stop it, but we cannot control them the way I want to have my heartbeat. As a fashion today, it is like 150. As a passion, after some years, it should be 200. So those are not in our control. That still we are surviving in this order. But we cannot say that I forgot to beat my heart for 10 minutes. I forgot to exhale for some time. These are not possible. I can say that the sun is, or we are, the earth is rotating and all these things, day and night. These all are existence, part of existence. We cannot deny that. We need to be coexistent with that, follow that, and understand them and enrich with that. So now this is a bigger picture of the existence. One second. This is end of the slide. This I request all to have a look on this slide. Any questions we can pursue? We'll try to understand it more. So this all process of what we have explained and in different slides, and all these days of workshop, put it into one slide. As here for queries or discussions on this topic. Yeah, this is activity. What is our common goal? If I want to reflect, just if I feel this content what I have shared in the PPT, want to verify at level and want to be coexisting in the nature, this activity helps, and to just see, verify an individual level, family level. But I'll pass here for any questions.
Anyone can mute and ask. Sorry, unmute and ask.
I feel that the content what has been expressed in this PPT, I feel it's known to everyone. Everyone can feel it. And the questions might be related to how to be reverse it, or what is the other way to stand, etc. Any question is welcome in this context in relation to the nature, harmony in society, family. If not, we can pursue them in the evening QA, but we have time, 5 minutes more. I'll wait for one minute and then I'll jump on the activity uh, and discuss on this. For now, I'll wait here for any question.
Balagaru, good morning. This is Nagamohan.
Good morning, sir.
So my question is, see, concepts, science, and the philosophy behind you told is perfectly right, high and depth. Thank you. But question is, see, we are arranging some sessions regularly. Similarly, many other people may be working on such concepts to pass this subject to few people. Suppose if 10 or 50 people in our group attend this session, maybe 5 or 10, maybe actually they can put into practice. But my question is, like suppose if I have, for example, 10,000 people or 1,000 families living in my colony or my village, each one of this 10,000 people is knowledge and understanding actually, not only few of us who read somewhere or attend some sessions. So at large, how to pass this understanding and philosophy to large, like suppose for example a visible vendor, a person laborer who work in somewhere, or a corporate office employee, a CEO, whoever he may be, they're all busy with their lives and they think that they're busy. But this concept of how to reach to them, unless we put them into education at education level, school levels and college levels, so how this how this need can be passed on? Any suggestions?
Thanks for the question, Nagamohan garu. Actually, I would like to rephrase your question. The question is like, I have come across this knowledge. I got exposure to this knowledge. Now I am good. I will practice. How about the other surroundings? Colony maybe 100 people, 1,000 people. So sometimes, as you rightly said, it should be part of education. As we speak today, it is part of education. It is a curriculum of any degree, graduate, undergraduate, And what I feel, when we even think about, when we put torch outside, even before that, we need to put the torch in what I am doing. If I say I am talking about myself, the Bala, what I am doing today. So as I said many a times, if I understand rightly, if I start practicing, other people's within the vicinity of vision, whomever it is following me, is actually motivated. He does. When he does, it's easy for others to follow. And that's how it does. So everything should start from us, individual level. And it is easy for us to express when it is happening at our side, our level, our family, and we understand it. When we understand it, there is no discounts in the knowledge. For example, if I know how to cook curry or rice, the theory level is different and practical level is different. When it goes to practical, there are million combinations. If I want to start a fire, there is a combination. If I want to have the fire lit and continuous till the rice boiled, there is a combination. You might be using gas, propane, coal, sticks. A person who is part of that process, he is actually enlightened in how to cook the rice. Only that person can explain or being a role model to others, because we are talking something is missing and one has fulfilling that miss, whatever the knowledge missing, and others people are attracted because they want to be happy, whatever the means. They will come and learn. A person who is actually knowing cooking theoretically and knowing cooking practically, experience level is different, realization is different. He can feel hot, temperature, boiling, sound, smell. There are a million things happening in the part of process. You never know that even you might start liking the smell. You might not like starting the starch. Starch will be becoming a part of food and lifetime. Practical is very different. Practical comes when you practice. Human beings are very much compatible in practicing and verifying. We are not here to ready to take proposals and simply read and we are now well knowledge. That's not going to help us. That's not going to, we are not in that kind of process. Human being is not that kind of person. He is a person who has a knowledge visualization. Whenever I say something, everybody is ready to put it on the balance and verification. Without verification, it won't last. It will destruct ourselves. If I say a cyanide and I saying that, hey, it is actually something which helps you, I need to verify what kind of help it is giving to me today. I need to go into that roots and everything. My way of perception, your way of perception is different, but truth is same. A sun is sun. You cannot deny it. Language might be different. So what I'm trying to communicate here is it should start from individual level. When an individual understands it, he could be able to explain it. And we don't have to wait for some others and come and enlighten others or make this knowledge available. There are YouTube videos, everything we can pass about this knowledge, but nobody is ready to accept it only until we follow it. If I time permits, I'll express what I am following. But I need to take permission from Giriji. Giriji, can I borrow 5 more minutes to share what I'm trying to do?
Please.
Doing the part of this.
Yeah, please.
Okay,
We
thanks.
can wait for 10 minutes, no problem.
Oh, thanks. Okay, so having that permission, what I'm trying to do, I'm not doing any wonders. I'm not doing any bigger picture here. I have a piece of land, which even I am not doing because of the fear I might do some wrong, because I'm yet to understand the process itself. I want to do a natural farming, being in nature and enriching. There are many ways we can do it. I'm reading it, but what I'm doing is in a small installment basis. How? Because I am a family person. I have a family. I am committed to their happiness as well. If I would have not married, and that is a different story. But I choose this path. I want to obey this path. I'm a family person. I want to stay together with my family. I want to make them happy. I know what their needs now, and after 10 years, I have got the list actually. After discussing, sitting with the family, I have asked them what we need. I have 2 kids, what's their need. That actually I took a permission from their mother actually. No, it's all a process protocol I am following. It's not simply we have studied something and that comes part of nature. No, we have to act it. So family level, there is a discussion happen, there is acceptance happen. I actually have to follow some rules in the family. I cannot deny my mother's if he says tomorrow come and, hey, it is not suiting to our family, we cannot do it. I should be capable that my knowledge should help me to divert my efforts and focus into something else, which again makes my family. If my mother comes and says it is actually disrupting our harmony because we are working for this small part or piece that can be attained in this way, this method is not working, we are not happy, then I need to take it serious. But if I am not skilled, if I am not a knowledgeable person, I start resisting that. I'm another person in the family, living in the same roof and different behind the walls. So after discussing in the family what is needed, how can I do, and I also shared my concern saying that I want to do this, learn farming, and how can I do it. So they have given ideas, I have understood. So long story short, whenever there is a rainy season, I go to field and I try to seed some seeds, and I see how they grow. And I take my kids and have them participate in the seed collection. We go for a walking, we collect the seeds, we preserve them separately. We try to pot them in, pot, and try to plant them somewhere, wherever I feel I see an open place, a tree behind a tree. These days, real estates are finding a real estate place where you can pot a tree freely is tough. So go to a forest and plant a small tree, plant something like that. And also small pots grow something at home. My mother basically grows many plants in a small space, this much room, like 20 feet cross 20 feet place. She has a sapota chiku tree in it, and banana. There are some lemongrass bush. There are many things I could not even recall. There are herbs and everything. And she taught me how to do it, and I am practicing it. I want to multiply it, and kids are following it. They are seeing it. And again, we are not disconnected from the technology or disconnected. We are rightly utilizing them. If I want to know more about the plant, I use the internet, I follow the YouTube, I document something. If I want to learn about some process, I ask my kids to come and sit and watch in YouTube, because it is meant for learning, not for watching or passing the time. So if I establish that now, that is established as a part of our tradition parampara in our family. Seed collection, growing lemon, seed, wheatgrass, help them to grind it and have it little bit. Try to grow aloe vera and help them how we can extract aloe vera from it. How can we use it for consumption and health and everything? There are many small things we can do it every day, and take them to a walk and ask questions. What you think about this and that? So this is happening. There is a stipulated time every day. I'll spend like 1 or 2 hours every day for this knowledge, acquisition, understanding, walk around and do these things, attend the classes, attend the different agriculture workshops or farming workshops, note down the things and experiment in a small level. The joke here is, if I want to see how a seed grows, I don't have to buy a field and have many seeds. So one seed is enough for me to understand different environmental condition, different soil conditions and everything. That is a good learning, and try to see in different ways. When I'm competent, understand that this is that I can multiply in many things, I can do it. Not only in agriculture, I have done these experiments in technology, in family, in psychology, many things, a small level, which is needed for my capacity. But this based on this Jivana Vidya human values knowledge. So when you follow, people ready to accept it. It's as simple as, if you are practicing something and you are expert in it, I am not. If you ask me a question, I try to convey it. It's self-evident there to an expert saying that I am not communicating exactly. I am not a person who is living it. I am only preaching. So there is always that I can say a fireback thing is there. So no person is ready to accept. A person is ready to accept when other person is following it. It's vice versa. So at a family level, I have expressed my concern. I want to do farming, but there are some checklists they have given. I am fulfilling it. I am doing my job as well. I am not discontinuing my job, and also doing a social work like this, trying to help this knowledge broadcasted or communicated in a workshops and other people, my friends. And so as a normal family person, with a given time and energy, I can do this much actually. Tomorrow, if my capacity grows, I can do many things. At the family level, that is happening. Actually, I thought of sharing this at QA, so I have not framed what I am doing at family level in my kids, with my kids and everything. Today, they know what is actually soil, what is seed, and how we need to preserve. And at least I am happy for that. Tomorrow, I'll try to help them how to cook and what is organic, and the small process slowly, day to day. And I don't have to go to any place. I bought a small piece of pot and drop some methi, drop some wheatgrass, aloe vera, and help them and ask them to own it, nurture it, and ask them how we can do it. I am, because if you start teaching coding, you might be a good coder. We don't need coders anymore. We don't need an engineers. Knowledge, technical knowledge is so much. We need somebody who could understand its nature and stand for it. It might be technology. If you talk quantum computing, quantum entanglement, it's not going to help. We need something which is practical. That's what my understanding. I am investing in that, with that understanding in nature actually. I'm seeing the fruits back. I'm very happy in that way. So if I start doing that, my neighbor sees that, hey, why you are growing this wheatgrass? What is the purpose of this? I start explaining it. Then they accept it, because you are showing the proof. Kids are doing, they are observing the proof, and there it is well funded. The relation starts. Then they will see you a trustworthy person, because you are doing something for your family, and that has a many fold of enrichment in the other thing. And we don't have to teach human values there. There itself a value system established. So what we learn today, what we are following is a minuscule. What we practicing is actually infinite.
Practicing is very important. Without a practice, without taking insight, without behaving, it is a superficial knowledge. There are many a knowledge from the era of Gautama the Buddha. It's gone. I would like to take one example from the Gautama the Buddha. Girija, I would like to take 2 more minutes because this example is very important in relation to the practice.
Yeah, please.
Thanks. And thanks participants, because I taken granted your permission. I know it started 6:30 and now it's 8:10. Thanks for bearing us, stay putting us, and giving your time and energy to understand this. So this is a good story. It was written in the time of Buddha, Gautama the Buddha. He was actually doing this kind of workshop in his era and time. And there was a person continuously attending this workshop and he's very happy. But the one problem he was asking to his master, that time he was Buddha, I can say a facilitator, we can call it, because the important is the core example, not the shell or naming. So he said, dear faculty, what is it? You are actually teaching everyone 1,000, hundreds of days. Nobody is actually reaching the level. Everybody is asking the same question many a time. Why can't we reach that level of understanding? Or enlightenment is a big word, but that time enlightenment is easy because lot of no distractions. It was pure consciousness happening around, and people are not much distracted. Only there was a fear of external calamity, animal and other things. But so he was asking a participant, a co-explorer, asking, saying that why can't we getting enlightened by listening your theoretical preaching? What is the problem in it? And since this is an explanation process, we cannot directly say that you have to practice it. But if you're asking a question, that means there is a lack of understanding the practice itself. So the answer was, and then the faculty started communicating with him, saying that, where are you from? He says, I am actually 100 miles away from this place that is called Avasti or whatever. And then how many times you have been visiting this workshop and all? He said, I have been visited many times, more than 10 places. That means you have done up and down for more than this many times? Yes. That means you know all the pathway, turns, cuts, chaos, conditions and hiccups and in between on the way. He said, yes, I know the obstacles, I know the turns where need to take. If a person comes and asks you how to go from this place to your place, would you be happy to explain him? Oh, very well. I'll ask him to sit and I'll start explaining, saying that you need to take this turn, there are that right turn, this time there is a pit hole, you have to cross that, there is a river, you need to pass in this corner and that. And the person is in front of you, he listened for half an hour. He should have reached that place, your place. How come this police question you are asking, faculty? Because I'm just merely explain. He need to start his walk. Yes, this example I'm trying to communicate that the walk is a practice. If you are not walking the pathway, then you are not reaching the. When you are walking, you are practicing. You are proof of practice. Everybody follows. Everybody on the road pathway asks, hey, where are you going? Why are you motivated, ambitiously going to that place? Said, see, that is my goal. I have decided my goal this way, that way. Then explanation, and people start believing you. They will also walk if there is a truth. Like truth comes after verification, not by seeing, communicating. So this all example, I was trying to say, practicing is the key essence of whole this workshop. If we are not practicing, we are not even trying to respect this. We are actually trying to read a paper, and that is also welcoming, because today it might not my turn to practice, or tomorrow I am doing some other practice. It is very, very welcome, because any practice, it needs to lead to mutual happiness. When I say mutual, it is human being, all the orders, society, nature. With this, I end this session. If you have questions, please. Okay, I am just seeing if I am UHV now, the essential course with 2 credits points. Yeah.
Hello, sir.
Yes, Hemant, please.
Sir, I have one question. As you are showing the diagram, existence, units, space, Jad Chaitanya, this flow chart actually.
Yes.
So, sir, in this actually, what does this overall convey? Because we have integrated all the things here. And finally, here it is no cycle. And then it's development. Because usually we have understood coexistence where all the things are in cycle, but here no cycle and it's development here. Can you
Yes.
clarify it?
Yeah, that I'll answer. Is it that the question, or should I wait for? I mean, say, is your question complete or?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thanks, Hemantji. Actually, there is no cycle. That cycle we are talking order. Even before human order to stand today with this posture, whatever the human body we are in, that order is at its optimal level. You know, that level is there is no cycle. That means there will be a new order if it is, but the cycle is at optimal level. There is a cyclic in the human and everything, composition and development. That is what we are trying to communicate. The GAN, it's actually human order leads to, there is a channel, we can say, Kriya, knowledge, prana. This information must be discussed in a separate class, because within a few minutes discussing this will lead more questions. But today, with this, in the short form, we can say that whatever the knowledge, the GAN that has actually development and that is optimal level, human order. There is there is no much needed, and there is if it is not this way, then it is lack. I mean, say we have already established sufficiently, and that is sufficient for to survive. And if something lack today with the current what we are, that is actually needed. This can be said that what is needed is already acquired on the earth. There is not needed more than that. And what we have today on the earth, what are units and all, if something is missing, that means this continuity is disrupted. So that way it is saying that there is no need to have more. We can survive with this, and the evolution will continue. And there is a bigger discussion behind it. But for to fix more questions and other aspects, I have posted this. We can pursue this in the QA, question and answer, with a more discussion.
Yeah,
let's take
up more in the discussions. I think that is better, because we are overshooted the time. So anyway, I mean, there will be some interesting videos and self-reflection points that are going to be posted in WhatsApp group. So please follow that, and post that. If you follow those videos and self-reflections, if you still have further questions, that can be discussed.
Giriji, I see there is a hand raise from Dr. Deepaji. Yeah.
Yeah, sir. Can I add one point?
Sure.
Yeah, maybe with respect to the last cycle, last slide, and the participant was asking, I think all other orders mutually fulfilling, but with respect to human order, we need that change. That's what you mean from the slide. There is no cyclic development in the case of we are just taking only, we are not giving back. So we need this change. That's the meaning of the slide, or you want to say something?
That is one of the meaning. This what we have trying to convey here is human. When I say it's not in the body or something like that, but it is a knowledge era. When it comes to the knowledge, we have sufficient knowledge around this. Now it's a time to fulfillment. There is no need for more knowledge now. The given knowledge is sufficient in that development process. That way, that meaning conveys, because the GAN,
pramana, acharana purnata, these and all has to be discussed more. For example, this is a 13th batch workshop 1, or we can say module 1. There is a module 2 and 3, level 1, level 2, level 3. When we go, we elaborate more. Why? Because as we keep on talking, theoretical level, there are much information, more information, but there must be a gap to have the information put in practice. That's the reason why there are many parts or blocks are still covered, not open. And that knowledge is that knowledge is actually enriched when we establish this in the practice at least some 6 months or 1 year, and I say at least 5 years, 10 years minimum. Given our family conditions and where we stand today, if I suddenly come and say that I want to follow this and go and tell in the family, that is not the right thing. It's an installment basis, one aspect at a time, and discussing with the family, show the living proof, and they accept you, that family become happiness. So that's how I correlate it. And also, I don't want to expand it, because given our today's nature and coexistence, that I think what we have covered is sufficient, and lack of this would not disrupt our proposals, I feel. Pardon me in that. And thanks for today's. Thanks for bearing me and these proposals. And have a nice practice for you guys, everyone. And senior people, junior people, whomever the respectable individual beings there. And all the best. We'll meet tomorrow again.
Yeah, Hemantji was asking, thanks for giving insight and help to find the practice it, how to practice it. I think that's the something we are going to discuss tomorrow.
Yes.
So don't miss tomorrow. It's more about the content is more or less done. So we will have some revision of entire content, and then also, share our experiences in practicing it. I mean, it's not the only way, but there could be any ways that, it's our creativity of how we can practice it. Okay, so please do attend tomorrow's session, where you will get some inputs on how to take this forward, how to make this in part of my living. So I will suggest you to attend. And Q&A today evening, 7 p.m. Thank you. I'm closing the session now.
Thanks, everyone.